Welcome to GirlCode, the only code that really matters. And I'm here with my girls.
Hey, what up, what up, what up?
Shar, with Sharika.
Hey.
Yes, and before we get started, I just wanted to do a couple announcements. I want to shout out to Short Story Blocks, to Blue Chew, to Jordan Credit Apparels, and Kiara's Irresistible Desserts.
Yummy, yummy.
So we're going to get on this topic right now. We got a little bit hot before we started.
I know. We were already into the topic.
Yes, I know.
Started.
So the topic is,
Jump out.
when it comes to cancel culture, how much do we actually hold these celebrities accountable for their actions?
Right. So, and I think we should definitely touch on why Shannon Sharp's fallout hits differently. We're going to start with that one.
This time.
Okay, absolutely. So we got to talk about the layers of privilege.
Right.
So celebrity privilege versus, media loyalty and how this is all affects. So we know that Shannon Sharp, he's a former NFL player, a legend, and he was an ESPN, what was he, a commentator or something like that?
Yeah,
That's
something
what
like
he was,
that, yeah.
right?
And
So,
Fox.
yeah, all of
And
that.
the others.
So
He's been
then he
everywhere.
faced what?
Correspondent.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what was it? A $50 million lawsuit he had against a sexual
Yeah.
assault lawsuit about
Yeah.
against that she a OnlyFans
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about that? So
Settlement.
Shar got a lot to say. Go ahead, Shar.
No, he settled. Like, there
Right.
was a settlement of
Yeah.
50 mil.
she was Jane Doe, right? Did they ever get her name? Nope.
No.
Nope. Jane Doe. We'll say Jane Doe.
OnlyFans 20. That's all I know.
So it was settled and dismissed with prejudice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. He was officially parted ways with ESPN because of that.
Wow. Okay.
But he still has his own podcast
He does.
show
Yeah.
thing, right? Okay.
Shay.
Shay.
Club
Shay, what's up,
And
Club
he's
Shay Shay?
with Ocho.
Yeah.
I love Ocho
And they be
Cinco. I
tearing
met
it
him.
up, okay?
Yes, so I love Ocho.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't come a long way from where he used to be. Beating on.
Yeah,
Over there
well,
with Elevin.
I can understand. I can understand a little bit both sides with Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Right.
we've talked about this before, how we felt like, he shouldn't have done that. Should have known better.
Right.
Also, the little girl, I was, calling little girl. I also was kind of
She was a
touchy
little
about,
girl.
I know, about
Yeah.
touchy about really, giving her a lot of grace too. But yes, he got severely impacted by that. And even though, yes, he has his own podcast and stuff, the fact that you had to part ways with ESPN is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
big. That's a big check.
Yeah.
It is.
Major.
Okay, so y'all know I be riding for the people. But however, and also, this isn't the first time nor the second time. It's like the third time he has been canceled for some behavior and things that have taken place. And I get it. Like, things happen, life happens, but sometimes you do gotta kind of get to terms where it's like, all right, we do have to part ways. Because
right.
at the end of the day, ESPN is also Disney. It's also like certain cultures, and we are in a different time, and we do need to have like some honor system. Now, don't get me wrong, I think people do deserve some grace in the way they move, but this keeps happening, and we're also getting to a part where we're settling, so it's just like, because we just went through Michelle, right?
Yeah.
Cat Williams, Monique, and others have told me, be careful how you moving out here. Be careful. Like, they're privy to things that we don't see.
We don't see those.
Right.
We don't
Right.
see the in between. But if you got these people saying, hey, you need to be careful in these streets.
Yeah.
You need to
see
be
the fallout.
careful.
Right.
And things have already happened multiple times. And here you go again for every action.
Right.
There's a reaction.
That part. And the consequence.
It is.
Yeah.
And as a celebrity myself,
And
I
you are.
understand that
Let's give it up
a lot of
to
things
the
that
mayor,
happen.
ambassador,
Mayor of Greensboro,
extraordinaire
North Carolina.
of Greensboro, North Carolina, with the triad and triangle included.
I'm joking. No, I'm saying that.
She isn't.
They're being extra, folks. Okay. No. Celebrities
heard
get
us.
treated like differently from what
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
used to getting treated. So
Yes.
we don't know what they do behind closed doors, but
Yes.
celebrities know what they do behind closed
Yes.
doors clearly. So you got to look at that, what gets protected,
Yeah.
their legacy or the loyalty when it comes
Yeah.
to celebrities.
And that's
so
on how much money you got half the
that
time,
has a lot
and
to do with
and
it,
how
too.
much dirt you have on
That's true.
somebody else.
That's true. Now, what he does or has been doing with these women is on different levels. 'Cause
Yes.
we got to think about the P. Diddy situation, okay? And Kat and I was touching on that a minute ago because I don't see a problem, this is me, doing certain freak offs. Okay, I'm
Freaky
sorry.
deaky.
I don't.
People agree.
I'm saying, but I think like Kat was saying, when it gets to another level where it makes it criminal, if we were
Yeah.
going to talk about that,
Yeah.
then it's on a different level. But whatever you like to do in the bedroom is
No, that's
your
fine.
business.
Yeah, I'm just
So
saying
I'm
if
okay with
at,
that.
if at some point you cross certain boundaries, right?
Correct.
Like if people feel unsafe,
Yes.
if people feel threatened, if
Correct.
people are afraid, you know, then now you have to start to question, okay, how much
Right.
when
Yeah.
is freaky too freaky? When is
Correct.
How is that being quantified though? Because a lot of these times, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not there. All is one
right.
person's word against another.
Correct.
So who's to say who is right? Who's to say Cassie wasn't down for it and then now she not?
Right.
Because
Who's to say Diddy-
sometimes it isn't
Yeah.
where like there's actual footage.
No. I
And-
get the
and,
footage.
you know,
That was just a
Right.
use because
Yeah.
Well-
we all saw her dragging.
we all saw
Yeah.
getting dragged.
dragged down the
Yeah.
highway.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
But-
say to Cat point too, though. Sometimes a picture can be manipulated in
Yeah.
what we see. So
Yeah.
a lot of times, yes, it could be like, oh yeah, you know, they agreed. This is like this. But when we talk about like, let's talk about, and I know this is a little intense, and if you have personal things that go on, please make sure you cover your ears. This is a very sensitive topic we're gonna get into. So I do want to make sure that we are
Right.
being accountable for how we move and
Right.
the things that we say.
100%.
Because this is girl code, and,
that's
we
what-
want to
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah,
that
that's
we're
the conversation I
taking
had with her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the things that we're doing. But a lot of times it's like hearing a child who comes in love with their molester.
Right.
Like it's like
Yeah.
they start craving more. Because what is it? It's the young man in Detroit who's on trial now, and the young girl's missing. I forgot her name, but may she rest well. She was pregnant, and he impregnated her at 12. But
Yeah.
when you look at their Instagram and you look at everything,
Saw that,
he
yeah.
manipulated her as if she
groomed her.
was in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Right.
groomed her.
That's
It's
a
a
good
term
you
for that
have-
though. I forget the name of the term.
But you have
if you know, put
Yeah.
a comment.
yeah. But you have these cases where it happens and it's like, oh, well, you were willing and knowing. And just like we said last time, sometimes we might see people as mature. We may see, they may know.
100%.
But trauma is trauma and people experience a thing. And it's like, when are you no longer the victim and you become the abuser, right? 'Cause
Right.
Diddy also grew up in all of that.
Yeah.
Like,
He did.
so it's just, it's levels to this. So, like I said, a picture does not always look as simple as it seems.
Yeah, but I feel like I know that some people are like, you know, cancel culture sometimes can be unfair.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand that. I do also, I'm a big proponent of,
Yeah.
you know, public shame. The reason I say that is because we've already grown up in a culture where some of these people were not held accountable, and now you have
Yeah.
the victims in the same room constantly having to protect themselves because they
Right,
don't feel
yeah.
watched. So now you have these people who were children, they're now adults,
Yeah,
and they're
right.
watching their family members being okay with these celebrities,
Right.
and it's impacting them, but they don't feel they're in a safe space to be loud about it. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times I was loud about being against R. Kelly, and
still
immediately
love
got backlash.
Still love R. Kelly. I love R. Kelly. I love R.
Yeah.
Kelly's music.
Yeah.
But-
okay, now what he does is different.
I can fly.
But
I know.
I think that goes back to sometimes it sucks, but that is how we, especially in Black community, sometimes your people that you've known, that you've grown up with, there is a level of loyalty, of protection.
Yes.
Because we do know how the
Celebrity
world
shielding.
attack people. Yeah. But
Yep.
also, especially when it comes just to our everyday lives, we do understand that sometimes Black men and Black women are often targeted. So it's like
Yeah.
it's really easy to like manipulate theirs growing up, right? That's
Right.
why it's so hard for people to be like, let's not protect Chris Brown. Because things have been happening since he was younger. So it's
Yeah.
just like, how do you hold somebody accountable for something that almost 40 from when they did when they were 14? And it's
Right.
like, because you automatically see
don't give them
this
the space to
young
grow.
man,
Right.
Yeah.
because he's
Immature.
a Black man, one, as something, not to say that it's like forgivable easy, but we
Right.
do have to
Right.
do our due diligence and a better job
Right.
at understanding how do we see everybody here. I'm sorry, I think you were going to say something.
no,
Okay.
No. And that's
Just a little ad lib.
Yeah.
So are we forgiving these celebrities though for what they're doing because of their power and their celebrity status because of what they done? And like you said, Chris Brown was
Yeah.
very young doing this, and now he's in his 30s. He's not in his 40s, is
He's
he?
almost 40.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like
See you
38.
soon, Chris. Concert coming soon. No, but yeah, he is almost 40. Dang,
Yeah, he is.
that's great.
I think a lot
yeah.
of times. I think a
Oh
lot
my
of times in the industry.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times in the industry, what happens is that they know all of these things are going on the whole
Yes.
time.
They do.
And a lot of the times, apparently or hypothetically,
Yeah.
they bring these things out when these people aren't in line with the direction they want them to go in
100%.
business
Yep.
sense wise. And so they use these things as
Cosby.
yeah, they use these
Diddy.
things to kind of tear down this person
Yep.
to I don't know the word, I think, but basically they tear them down to be
Yeah.
able to get them in line with what they want them to do.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because they knew all this stuff. They knew Diddy was throwing these parties. They was half of them was at the party.
Exactly.
So now you coming out because he's not following in line because Revolt, he had Revolt,
Yep.
the different things that he was doing that was
Ciroc.
not in that was not in line with quote unquote the people. And now I'm gonna put this out, so I'm gonna tear you down. I'm gonna kill your reputation, so you
Yeah.
can no longer go on this pursuit that is against what we are
But
trying to do.
look about what is the Aristotle? Is it Aristotle or was it Aristotle? Aristotle. Yeah, the guys with Aristotle, they were literally trafficking men,
Yeah,
and they were able to get out on bond.
Yes.
yeah.
Did he ask for the same thing? No,
Yeah.
immediately no. But it's
And
like
Diddy even left the country and came back. Like if that ain't a sign of I'm
Yeah.
gonna agree and go through this process,
Now-
listen, you out the country in a
I feel
place
like
that do not.
I
bring
feel
you
like he
back.
also thought
Yeah.
he was bigger than that.
Yeah, but let's be clear. It does not mean we're supporting what he did. I'm trying to keep this
No.
real, like
I'm supporting the freak offs.
neutral.
Everybody
If you
understands
wanna
she is
do
supporting the freak offs.
Freak off
Yeah.
in a positive way.
I think if you want to do
The
it,
key is a positive way.
yeah,
We need some
Positive
consent
way.
sign,
on freak
please.
offs,
We
okay?
need some consent.
Positive way. Oh my
Consent.
God.
We
We are not
sign on
condoning
the
his
dotted line.
activities.
Yeah.
Please.
yeah. We
If
gotta
you
make
about
that
it, you
clear.
about it. Just give consent please.
We
in a
are-
legal way.
Okay, so we're not gonna ick your yum.
No, we're not
We wanna
icking yums.
but we do want to make sure it is clear
Yeah.
that people have a right to say what they yum and not forced into
100%. Yeah.
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 It's all love.
Yeah. So all of that to say, it does become a different dynamic because it almost makes you want to root on the underdog.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're almost manipulated in that way sometimes. Or you hear people standing up for things you know not right, like R. Kelly. Like, and y'all know how I was just talking about Brian McKnight too.
Oh,
But it makes you root for
Yeah.
certain underdogs because it's like there's a nostalgia with you. There's a protection I naturally have for you. And it could be for being celebrities, but we do it with our family sometimes too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, with R. Kelly, I know that he keeps getting touchy, but
No.
for me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I understand that people love his
Yeah.
music, you know,
Yes.
but it's like the more support that you give to some of the stuff,
Yeah.
the more it kind of
fuels
it
it. Yeah,
blurs
that's
the
okay.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like some people are like, yo, I love that song Ignition. I'm like, okay, but what was the song about? What happened during that time? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like some people
Yeah.
don't want to think about that hard because then they would have to make themselves not.
But we
enjoy
would
that.
have to analyze all the songs.
Yeah.
though, 'cause
Yeah.
We don't know like what other artists have was actually singing
Oh,
about.
I'm absolutely like
Yeah.
that.
I also
yeah.
feel like too,
Yeah.
people don't necessarily do well of separating professional and personal. Like
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
can make great and amazing music
Yeah.
and be an asshole.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
But that don't mean that their music isn't good. Now we might need to assess the lyrics and figure
Yeah.
out what they're talking about, and maybe that song might need to be canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same token, I feel like while R. Kelly is being held accountable, or they have been,
Yeah.
I think the other people in those situations also need to be held accountable.
Yes.
And that's the
Yeah.
only
100%.
thing that I have
Right.
issues with the R. Kelly situation is that the other people that were involved in these situations were not
Yeah.
held accountable, i.e. the minors' parents
Yeah.
who put them there. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Right.
Why were they not addressed? You know, R. Kelly, yes.
Because they were your responsibility.
This is your child.
Ching.
Listen, they come
Yeah.
get me if my
Ching.
children miss too many days of school.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me my whole minor is living with this
Yeah.
man and having sex and doing whatever they doing,
Yeah.
and I'm not being held accountable? Why not?
Right.
So it's like if we're going to hold R. Kelly accountable, we also need to hold everybody else accountable in
Yeah.
the situation.
I think the reason celebrities get attacked more though is because there's also a level of a power imbalance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's just
it
like
is.
when they're that big and you feel like they can't get touched because of their money,
Yeah.
then that makes other people who aren't at that level feel like they can also do things that wouldn't be approved of. Yeah.
True.
But as far as I'm concerned, and I have children,
Yeah.
if something is happening with my child, I don't care who you are. I
Yeah.
want to protect my child.
Right.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, it's like power or no power, your alignment and your whatever is to your child.
Right.
So if you're not going to stand up for your child,
Some
then
people.
you need to be held accountable.
Some people.
Exactly.
'Cause
But
they were
need
about
to-
They were about
Yeah.
money.
Exactly. That is the
Right.
whole point. They
Yeah.
need to be held accountable.
100%.
Yeah.
But
need
they
to
don't
be
want to
held
talk about
accountable.
that. We
They
don't want
don't
to
wanna
focus
talk
on
about
that.
that.
We want to focus on the celebrity.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's not to discount that because that is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't know who Aaliyah's parents are or what they even look like. You know what I mean? I know what R. Kelly looks like. You know
It
what I
doesn't
mean?
matter what they
It-
look like.
And I'm not saying that doesn't matter, but in my mind, I'm just like, yes, it's true. Everybody should be held accountable. How am I going to hold Aaliyah's parents accountable? I have no clue how to do that.
Didn't Aaliyah get married underage?
Yes.
In order
they
for her to get
approved it.
married
Yes.
underage, her parents have to sign.
And that's valid, but what I'm saying is that I know I can impact some of these celebrities for the actions, but
Yeah.
not filling up their pockets. You know
but
what I mean?
yeah.
But their streamings. You know what I mean? How much
But I
attention
will
they're
say
garnering.
some of R. Kelly's streaming now actually go to
Oh.
funds for victims. So
Right.
that's a little
Yeah.
bit different now,
Right.
at least in that case. But
Go R.
to your
Kelly.
point-
I know, but
no, I think that
Was that his
I don't
choice?
think that was
Or
his
court
choice.
order?
I'm joking.
I don't think that was his choice.
but like under the
Before we get
umbrella,
banned
And R. Kelly.
so like stepping away from Mark Kelly, for example,
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp,
Yeah.
right? His pockets are getting impacted. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the impact
Ramification,
now. Yeah, the
yep.
ramification for what happened.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why. So yes, I do agree with you that
Yeah.
some of these minors' parents
Right.
should be held accountable. Absolutely.
Right.
But I feel like
Yeah.
people target celebrities more because there's no other ways to hold them accountable other than jail or hitting their pockets.
Right. But see, and I just want to go to your point of why people defend them in these spaces, right? So I know we keep going back. I don't mean to, but like R. Kelly, not only were there minor kids, there were also adults, legal
Yeah.
consenting adults. But on top of that, you have some people like his ex-wife, Drea, who literally has made her pockets go up.
Yep.
Based
Because of the
on-
situation. Capitalized.
Yeah, and utilize the trauma, like having the moments where I want to be emotional and I want to cry, and then this is happening.
Right.
And but then you want to stand by him when it's convenient.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it becomes a little bit those type of things start blurring the line.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
It's like, how do I not, because I do see this person is in jail.
Right.
He keeps saying, I didn't do all of this, and not to
He said,
granted,
where is his residual?
right. But we do see like they start putting
Right.
some ambiguity in here, right?
Yeah.
To start getting you in a place where like, well, geez, but because to the point, everybody should have equal treatment.
Yeah.
Wrong is wrong.
Yeah,
But
right.
everybody, but our American system,
Yeah.
you should be innocent until proven guilty, but that is not always the case.
Oh yeah, no.
That's because of the gray in believe all women.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with going back and forth.
Right.
With, oh, the woman's the victim, this happened to her. And we gravitate to believing the woman in certain situations. Like when the Diddy thing came out, we
Yes.
saw that clip. That's all we saw. That came out first. Then everything else came out afterwards. But all we could see is him kicking her in that hotel room.
Right.
So we're going to automatically gravitate toward
And I'm not going to hold y'all. I'm a woman. I feel like we are the best liars. I'm just let y'all know right there.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say Cass. I'm not,
yeah.
I'm not gonna say.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Wait,
I
Like,
agree with you.
I'm not gonna say Cassie lied though because we're not supporting.
No,
we're
I'm
not
not
supporting.
saying-
But yes,
no. Just
there
in
have been a
general.
lot
That
of
was a
women, like
general
with the
statement.
Bill Cosby situation,
Yeah.
right? Yes, possibly did he do that? Okay, but the amount of women who came forward afterwards,
Right.
without any real proof, and it was like word of mouth. Then at that
Yeah.
point, you start to question, okay. Is this real,
Right.
or are some people just trying to get a paycheck?
Exactly. That goes
Right.
back to
Or
like
to
Michael
blur the
Jackson.
lines.
Right.
Blur the lines. Like
Yeah.
I don't know all the exact details of the Shannon Sharp
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
But according to Shannon Sharp, it was more so this was our sexual thing.
Right.
This was not
Right.
anything that was demeaning
But you
or
paid.
demonstrous. Yeah, I mean, he paid. I think, but at a certain time,
Yeah.
too, sometimes celebrities and
Yeah.
companies and different things
Yeah.
like that, they pay to just be done with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's
not to
not
get
necessarily.
exposed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
necessarily.
But it's already exposed.
Yeah, but maybe
A
it
lot
was
of
more.
it. A lot of it was not.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
some more freaky deaky
Yeah.
little stuff he had under
Yeah,
the
a lot
covers
of it
that
was
he
not.
went out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they do that to protect themselves a lot of
Yeah.
times because they don't want a lot of the other things coming out.
Yeah.
Not that necessarily it was wrong, but maybe he wants to keep his stuff private.
Absolutely.
This was something
It's
that he
hard.
did in a
Yeah.
sexual thing. This was something they had sexual.
Right.
And she turned it in a way
Yeah.
to capitalize on it.
Right. Well, you're right. Because what was that? One of them girls, the witnesses on the stand, with Diddy, couldn't remember what happened.
Right.
Right.
And was mixing up the time and dates. But again, that is a good defense.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to make you be like, ugh, I
Right.
don't know. That's how you know a lawyer is doing their job.
Absolutely.
Right?
Or she could have just been high. at the party and truly don't remember.
They did. He did keep him on them drugs. They
Very
were
possible.
getting high.
Every day.
Yeah, but I feel like everybody should be held accountable equally, and I
Yes.
do believe
Yeah.
that some women kind of blur the lines, and like
Yeah.
Will said before, they can be manipulative. Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
there are women
Women
who are
can be.
master manipulators.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some people just want the money. Like, let me
Yeah.
if you get that close to a celebrity and get to do these things
Mm-hmm.
with them, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, what I did was wrong, or it could be out there.
Yeah,
Let me
true.
try to get that paycheck.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's right. I really don't.
No.
Especially if
Right.
you're consistent
No.
in it. Whether a celebrity or not, I just don't
Yeah.
think you should do that. Like you said, women do lie quite a bit.
No.
So, but it's okay. Things happen. So, what are we going to do about consequences versus the accountability? So, how do we, despite the settlement and the loss of the income and network gig enough, or just surface level the fallout?
Yeah.
How do you think?
I guess it goes to like, how do we shift our support? Like,
Right.
I was just I was saying earlier about Brian McKnight. There are things that I just do not agree with how he navigated as a father. It is
Right.
wild to have a second child and name your second child after your son that you already have. It is wild to like shift how you see your family, your bloodline of things. It is also wild to literally see your child die and then want to go to social media to stand up. It is wild to also shift who you are, your identity. But again, there are deeper wounds in that as
Yeah.
a Black woman, seeing you shift how you see things. So
Right.
for me, it's like, I will never go to a concert of his. Like I
Right.
might, if it's on the radio, I'm not going to be like, change it. No, he got some. Have I ever crossed your mind? I'm always here, But at the same time, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me listen. Let me. I'm not seeking it out, right? So for me, it becomes if it's something that really hits me and I feel some type of way, because even going to music, a lot of times we go to music as a sense of our own relief.
Right.
And
yes,
our own
absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
That's me.
So I don't want. Sometimes I do not want to put all the thoughts into. Oh, well, that was talking about when he said half on the baby. That was with a baby. I don't want to.
That Pied Piper.
I like that style. Okay.
I don't want to. Sometimes I want to enjoy the moments and be able to
Right.
separate because that's why I go to it. But at the end of the day, I do try to work like, well, what is my moral compass and how
Right.
much am I giving attention to that? Like I may have listened because I used to have all the Trapped to the Closet on like DVD back
Yeah.
in the day, and me and my homeboy used to sing them on the phone when we was in high school. Like, yeah, this is the jam. But now I was like, okay, if it come on, I might be like,
I still do it.
I try.
In certain
I'm a
situations,
fan of
I'm very
everybody.
good at compartmentalizing,
I
and
am.
I can
I am.
compartmentalize.
But I
like,
mean,
the
I'm not
music from
going
the
to a
Yeah.
concert.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not.
I'm not
There's certain
supporting.
things I'm not doing separately.
Chris Brown, I'll see you soon.
Oh, I'm 100% Chris Brown. I'm at everything. VA all day. Let's go.
I look at it from a different
Yeah.
perspective too,
Yeah.
because I feel like what we see on
Yeah.
TV,
Yeah.
Brian McKnight, R. Kelly, Shannon Sharp, all of these celebrities
Yeah.
had these allegations, men and women.
Mm-hmm.
We're only seeing a snippet part of
Exactly.
it, and
Yeah.
we are so judgmental of. I shut you down. I'm not going to
Yeah.
listen to you
Yeah.
anymore. I'm not going to, watch your podcast or everything
Yeah.
else anymore. Like I'm done, but we don't know the full story.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're
We
right.
don't. We
Yeah.
only get a
Quickly
snippet
judge.
of it.
I know. That's why I know a lot of people were Team Diddy. Like he's gonna get
Yeah.
off. He's good because nobody was really separating the state versus the federal side of it.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't understand it was two
Right.
different versions
Yeah.
of the case.
And
So-
listen, they did a good job.
did
of
a
defending
great
that
job.
man because
Great job.
you
He's still in there though.
I
Diddy.
know, but
Stay strong.
I'm saying if you're looking at it completely from a legal perspective,
Correct.
the way that everything was laid out, these people were willing participants. This
Correct.
is what happened, and it's like that is so that becomes a little sad because for sure,
Right.
some of these people actually did lose a lot of their life and identity in the
Yeah.
midst of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like not only for them, I think about his kids.
Right.
Like you got two young daughters who literally are graduating high school and this is the experience they're seeing with
Right.
their dad.
Yeah.
Not only with them,
They might have seen more than we know though.
that's what I'm saying. But that in itself
Right.
puts you in a thing as
Right.
a child you should never have
Right.
to see.
100%.
Even
Yeah.
his sons, like y'all getting arrested in places like you
Correct.
shouldn't have to do that.
No.
Y'all just lost y'all mom.
Right.
Yep.
And then you're going through like the trauma,
the
the
illegal
impact
side
of that,
versus
yeah.
It's two different
So
sides that
but what I'm getting at too, we're only thinking at the victims we see, like what you were saying,
Right.
like as the audience, the women here, but there are family and generations that are being
100%.
impacted by this too.
100%.
And then there's another point that I want to bring up that you mentioned how, because this really hit me, and I had to think hard when you said that you see a lot more Black men being canceled than you do see women,
Right.
or white men, and I had to sit there because they're like, how many women got canceled or something did, and I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I can't think.
yeah,
it's an
right,
imbalance. It's a
Where's it
major
at? Yeah.
imbalance.
Yeah.
right, yeah,
But
I
even-
thought it was crazy.
And even
But we
back
see
to
them
your
as
point-
aggressors.
Yeah, but
Right.
even
Yeah.
back to your point where you talk about the Chris Brown situation,
Yeah.
where it's like he was a young man who made some poor decisions, did some things that should not have been done. You know,
Poor
now
decisions. He beat the shit out of that girl.
100%.
But she
100%.
also admitted that they were hitting each other and also doing drugs and stuff together. They both were
Yeah.
doing
No,
stuff
but
that
I
was out of
can't
line.
unsee those
Yeah.
pictures.
See
No,
how
we're
that
not-
happens?
No,
But see-
no.
No, I'm
The
saying,
pictures
yeah.
of her bruises is what,
Yeah.
and that was after it was healed, and I was just like, that is crazy to me.
Right.
Yeah, no, 100. That's what I said. I'm not negating what he did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't his first offense.
Yeah.
I'm not negating what
Or
he
last.
did. I'm not negating what he did, but I think as celebrities, we also forget to humanize people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, he was young. He did some things. We don't know what his history is. You
Yeah.
know, his childhood, what he
Right.
experienced in his childhood, the traumas that he dealt with, whatever. Like, these are true things,
Yeah.
right? But now, like you said, he's almost 40,
Yeah.
right? Him and Rihanna are cool. Like,
Are they?
yeah. They even started talking for a
They
while.
dated again.
They dated
between
again
him
a
and
while.
Karrueche
Like
for a while.
they are good. And so it's like they're good. He's moved on. He's clearly shown the remorse. He's
She
shown
has.
the different things. You know,
She's
she
definitely
has.
moved
Okay,
on.
ASAP.
3 babies.
I
3 babies.
know, that's my favorite.
cute.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
go ahead.
But
Yeah.
but the thing is like they're good, and we are still holding on to stuff and holding this
Yeah.
man and doing whatever. And you know, like it's certain things is
Yeah.
like, when do we as the audience, you know, forgive?
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to pick up that. Just sorry to like cut you off, but I remember like back in the day after Rihanna happened and Chris was trying to come back. Robin Robinson did an interview with him, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember,
remember
that.
that.
Yeah.
He specifically baited him, and they asked repeatedly, "Can we not talk about this? Can we?" Because
Yeah.
we were literally
I remember
trying
that.
to navigate, and it's just like it's sickening.
Need a ratings.
That
Is that the one he got up?
yeah,
He got up and left.
He got up and left,
Yeah.
and then he like threw a chair at the thing in the fitting room.
Yeah.
in the fitting room separately. But the thing,
Emotional, you mad.
But the whole point is like. Literally, this young man had everything, and he worked his butt off as
did.
a child too. And it's like I lost everything for something that happened when I was here, and now everything always goes back to that same thing.
Okay,
His
yep.
identity now
Was linked to
is
that.
all linked
Yep.
to that. Like we from the performer for Michael Jackson, for being a supervisor for him, he never even got a Grammy. All of this because
Right.
you are a young Black man who experienced this at a young age, and we canceled you forever in a Sunday. And it's like, yes, there are some things it's like, yeah, we do need to hold you accountable. There are things that you need to change, but we do get to a point where it's just like, this is a little intense, and it
Yeah.
does make you a little bit more soft-hearted, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my point though, I always look at repeated action. So like,
Yeah.
it's true. You know, he did that a long time ago. He was forgiven for it.
Yeah.
He felt remorse. But like, if I'm seeing repeated icky behaviors like that, I'm just like, do I really care to keep supporting this person?
Yeah. It's
Or
your
am I gonna
preference.
keep doing this and then
Right.
just keep
Moving.
going?
You
His
definitely
conscience?
shouldn't put a
Yeah.
blinder on it. I don't think
Yeah.
it's ever a situation where we should put blinders on those
Yeah.
things. That's like, I never support abuse in any form or
Right.
fashion. So I think it's very important for
And the
that
abuse
to be
is not
held
only
accountable.
physical.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I say, in any fashion. And so it's like, it definitely needs to be held accountable. But it's like, when this person is held accountable and they show, and I don't know Chris Brown. I don't know what he do in his personal
Yeah.
life
Right,
with
right.
his girlfriends, you know, whatever. But it's like, if they have been held accountable and they've changed how they act, how long do
Yeah.
you as the audience or the
Yeah.
people on the outside continue to hold this person at that same? Because I know, and I know there's mistakes that I've made in my life.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know,
100%.
Right.
that I've been, that I've held myself accountable for. I've been held accountable by other people in those situations,
Right.
you know, and I've moved past it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to keep being brought back to this.
No,
Where
of
it's like,
course.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it's like, we
Yeah.
have to still give that same grace to the celebrities.
Right.
But they're a celebrity. That's
Yeah.
it. Your stuff
But
is
they're
not
still
held.
people.
Right, and I
That's
agree.
why that-
What?
No,
No,
I was
I was
thinking-
just saying
yeah.
I agree with you, but
Yeah.
they're held in the public eye for
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
to see. Versus, you can do something to me, and we
Yeah.
cool. It's gonna stay right here in this room,
Yeah.
outside on this
And what I-
podcast.
and
You
what
know what I
do
mean?
understand from a
Right.
business
Yeah.
standpoint, like even with the Shannon Sharp, and it was sad that he had to, lose the ESPN. But you have to understand from a business perspective,
Yeah.
his likeness is what they pay for.
Oh yeah.
You know, his thing. So if you damage your likeness, then that is hurting my money
Yeah.
and my brand. So I
Right.
have to let you go and keep that. That is
Yeah.
strictly business.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people have to separate professional
100%.
and personal.
Well,
100%.
I'm gonna say this though, and we can say that as much as we want, but certain people in certain roles and careers naturally give yourself up.
Yeah,
If I'm a
exactly.
celebrity, yes, but let's get a little bit more personal. If I am a police officer, there are certain things you need to be doing.
100%.
If I am a pastor, there are
There's
certain
certain
things that
things.
you need to be doing. Even as an educator, because if you heard
Yeah.
that your child was in a class and their teacher were doing some of those things, right?
Right.
There would not be that,
Fired.
but it'll be the same. It's not going to be, they're human too. The reality is this is the role and this is the life space you're doing. So, but
Correct.
we have to do our due diligence of figuring out, all right, am I here with it? And am I not? And like, honestly do this from our morale.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's levels to it.
Yes.
There's
Right.
definitely levels to it because it's like certain things you can do. So if I had a teacher, there's a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Say the teacher was a domestic abuser. 100% I think people would be like, oh my God, no.
Right.
Why
Can't
are
be in my
they in
class.
there? Why
Yeah.
are they in
Yeah.
their class? You know, they are an
Yeah.
aggressive person. You know, they shouldn't be around
Right.
children.
I agree.
But say if they was somebody that participated in freak offs, but they never did that. They dressed very professional in
Never
class.
know.
You would
Yeah.
never know. Like,
Right.
But you got schools that be like, nope, get them out.
Exactly.
Exactly.
but
Immediately.
but
They have a
where is that
record of-
crossing the line?
Yeah.
though?
Yeah.
But where is that crossing the line?
But that's what I'm getting at. When you certain career and certain pathways, when you get them, you understand like, oh shoot, I have to represent this thing, even when I'm not representing this thing.
Freak
So
off
what
on the
she's
low.
saying, so what she's saying is, if
Yeah.
you go into a certain career,
Yep.
Right.
you are already signing off that there are these
Yeah.
certain things that you're going to be held accountable, and
100%.
it's your responsibility to uphold a certain
Yeah.
image because now
100%.
that is your brand.
I
so
agree
if you're a
with that.
celebrity, that's your face is your brand.
yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
And you're
Now-
you're going into knowing that anything that you do that in the public eye is going to negatively impact you. That's the reason why there's other celebrities who are very, very
Yeah.
private about their lives because they acknowledge that anything they do will impact their career.
Yes. Because
Okay, so I'ma
currently
go
our
far
president
left.
doesn't necessarily show the best example of that. But
New topic.
right, but essentially, but that is why there's so much judgment. That is
Right.
why
Right.
if you have a role and you have a position, it comes with judgment. That's the
100%.
accountability for it.
Go
scenario.
ahead. Here we go.
Scenario.
I'll go.
Hit it.
Let's
Scenario.
wrap it up, Sharika.
Scenario. Okay. Okay. So, what if there was a woman, right?
Yeah.
She grew up in the area where she didn't come from a lot. She fought. She did really good in school. She got partial scholarships, but while she in school, she decided she was gonna strip to make some money while she in college. Was very private with it. Wasn't out with it. Wasn't anything. She graduates. She starts her career. Say she's a lawyer. She's become a partner at a law firm at this point. This is 20 years down the road. She's climbed the corporate ladder, and then a video is dropped that somebody had from 20 years ago of her on the pole.
Right.
I feel like less people are held
But
accountable
no,
for that.
but
though.
but it's
But
like
they are.
But that's the
Yeah,
thing.
look at Cardi.
No. But
Here's
they
hold on.
are.
Let me finish the scenario. Then everybody can talk
Okay.
about it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let me finish the scenario.
All right, she's a lawyer now.
She's a lawyer now. Her partners get a whiff of this video. They call her into the office and say, "Hey, we're gonna have to remove your partnership from this law firm because we feel like it's not whatever." And so she loses her partnership, and she's no longer a partner at this firm. How
That
do you feel about
happens.
it? Go.
No, that happens.
That happens,
It literally
yeah.
just happened
Yeah.
to a teacher also who had an OnlyFans account.
So
and they
is
found
that
out.
right? But see, that's current, right?
No, but even not current. They found something from her past.
Mm-hmm.
It also happened to a man. It's happened to people.
Yeah.
That,
Is the-
that's
all right.
the standard.
Right. That's why I'm giving the scenario. So is that Right. Like, that's what I want to know from y'all. Like,
it goes back to what Shar said.
How do you feel about it?
You signed off on this lifestyle. Yes, you were young, but you decided to choose this career. You go into this partnership knowing that you did that in the past. You shouldn't be shocked when they chop you off on the chopping block.
You can't be shocked.
but as a lawyer, is that something that's going to damage my career?
No.
Exactly.
It will tarnish
So
it.
why?
though.
But
Absolutely not.
It will. It will
tarnish it.
impact.
No. I understand. Like I said, I went back. I said I understand the ESPN thing.
Yeah.
That's business. That's the likeness. As a lawyer, my job is to defend you in court. How is me on a pole affecting me 20 years ago, affecting you in my defense of you?
It's no one's saying it's fair.
Yes.
No one's saying it's fair. But that's just life.
It's
There are
reality.
certain codes of conduct, and yes, it's not
So
fair.
we're just signing up for that?
Yes, you signed up for it.
No.
You did sign up for
I
it.
did
signed
sign
up
up
to
for
be a lawyer.
But there's
Right,
a code
but-
of conduct
Yes.
associated.
Where is the code of
Hold
conduct
on.
from a
Go ahead,
lawyer?
Kristen.
Where's the code of conduct in the career of law
Hold on.
that says that this is going to affect? Now, I understand in the career of students, maybe, because I can talk about your morale and teaching and that kind of stuff. But in the code of being a lawyer, why does that matter 20 years ago that I stripped for 6 months?
It doesn't, but it does.
Yep.
So
Okay,
I'm agreeing with both things you're saying.
Yeah.
But I also think this is based off of the career.
Yes.
Right.
As a lawyer,
Yes.
sure, yes, you're a representative of yourself and someone else based off of your past. I don't think 20 years ago that should make a difference. However,
It does.
you're a lawyer in a partnership firm. You can go start your own. You can bounce back.
Yeah.
Teacher,
Yeah.
which is a lower pay grade of status, may not be able to do
Yeah,
that.
they
Yeah.
can't.
That's they can't. But lawyer, you can because you're making buku bucks.
Yeah.
You can go teach if you want to, and you'll be just like anything can happen after the fact.
Yeah.
But it depends. But it works both ways. So
Yeah.
sure, you knew
Right.
that when you started stripping and you wanted to be a lawyer.
It was gonna come back up.
Anytime you
it
do
can may
something like
come
that.
back. Anything in
Yeah.
anybody in any of our lives can
Yeah,
come back up.
that's
I mean,
what we're
that's just
told.
normal.
And
So
to your point, I
where's
know
that
you're-
level of empathy, though?
It is a level.
There is a level
There's
of
levels of
empathy.
empathy,
Yeah.
but we live in a society where you're gonna get both ends.
That's
Right.
it.
You gonna
Sometimes
get talked
life-
about.
sometimes
and
life
when
is
you
not
reality.
fair.
When do you fight and when do you accept?
I'm
and
not
when,
fighting
and when
for
do
you for that.
I'm not. Well, nobody's asking you to fight, but why are you supporting?
No, I'm saying I'm not supporting it, nor am I not. But if I know that we have a case, especially today, to your point, and she's a lawyer, even if it was 20 years ago, if we go in court and I have a huge case, you know what's going to be highlighted? You and that. Just like, what was her name? Fonnie Harris in Atlanta. Everything had nothing to do with the case she was doing. It was all about her getting dinner with that man. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing at all. But guess what? It plays a role.
It can
in
work
how
both
people
ways.
see you.
It can be, unfortunately, but it will die
reality.
off.
I think that's why I
eventually
feel
'cause
like
of
our
social media.
system fails people.
Of
does.
course.
But
That's
again,
not, no, but you chose to do that.
You
That
did
was
choose
a
to
choice.
do it.
You got to stand in your choices that you made.
And I'm not saying that
That's
she,
just like
in
when
that
we
scenario,
saying-
I'm not saying that she wouldn't stand it.
But-
Like, yes, I did this. This was my justification for doing it. This is who I am. This is who I've always been. I don't think it should affect the professional and those things where it's not a likeness type thing.
But no, there's accountability for the actions that you make,
agree.
regardless. Like that's why people say don't send sex pics out.
Very true.
That's why you don't say certain things. How many people have? I didn't even have Twitter back then, but how many people you know have shifted their Twitter, their social media, not to have anything because unfortunately that is the time we live in.
I agree.
Even any of us. If we have anything,
But
gotta have
but
it.
in the same instance, like going back to that video, you say if you
Yeah.
send video. So say you're in a serious relationship with somebody, and you know y'all do y'all little freaky deaky thing. You know you
Yep.
sending little videos to them
Yep.
because y'all been dating, y'all been whatever.
Yeah,
you
yep.
know you send a little butt pic, tit pic, video, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then y'all break up. And he put it in his group chat or something. Be like, hey, da da da, whatever,
But
whatever.
you knew that
I'ma
was
go
a
get a good lawyer.
possibility.
I understand you knew it was a possibility, but you did this because of that. Whatever.
Right.
So who's wrong in that
Hold on.
situation?
Did you watch Netflix Forever?
Yes, I did forever.
And what
That's what made me
happened?
think about
I know.
that.
But what happened?
Exactly.
But what happened?
She hit it, but then when she finally came out with it and the
But
support.
the ex-boyfriend put
Yeah.
the video out.
Exactly, that's
She
what I
had
thought
to
about it.
literally leave her school.
Yeah.
She literally found her even in her next relationship and
I get
everything.
that.
Everything.
and I get that. Follows that, but
So to umbrella this, I know it's not fair.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
know that there are some people
Thank
that
you.
should be held accountable.
Thank
And
you.
there's some things that should be let go. But the truth
Reality.
is, reality, we live in a society
Yes.
that there are unwritten codes of conduct
Exactly.
and written ones that need to hold you accountable. And if you
Yeah.
go into that field knowing those codes of conduct, you shouldn't be surprised if it comes
Exactly.
back later and now you got to
Yeah.
face consequences.
I agree with everything other than the fact that you said that the part where you said society has these different code of conducts and you should understand that you have to be held accountable to society's code of
I'm
conduct.
not saying you should be held accountable. I'm just saying you shouldn't be
Right.
shocked
But-
when it happens.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I 100% agree
Is,
with that.
We have gotten to a place where we want everybody to accept everything.
Yeah.
I am not obligated to accept
Yeah.
everything someone has done.
100%.
Nor is everybody obligated to accept everything I have done.
Exactly.
And I have to understand
Exactly.
if there are moments where things have changed or things have shifted, then that's just what it is. If it's something that I did, and nor can I hold you accountable for being mad at me because I did it, because I did do it. If
Exactly.
that's what I did.
100%.
So when it comes to the lawyer, when it comes to the sex tape, when it comes to any of the
100%.
things, if they come out, that's been me.
100%.
So
agree with
moving
that.
forward, I will say,
It's a little heated.
don't videotape anything.
Hello,
okay?
Yes, please
Girl
be
code
safe.
everything in your own house.
That's
your
girl
own
code.
Area,
That's girl code.
Okay, don't take no pictures. Don't put it on social media. Think about long term.
Disappearing
okay?
shit don't work
Yes,
either.
uh-uh.
Hello.
'Cause they can screenshot disappearing shit.
Everything's in the cloud.
So- Girl
Everything
code.
is in the cloud.
So,
So, go ahead.
yeah, so pretty much just be safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about what you guys are doing. There
Yes.
are going to be consequences for your actions.
100%.
This is the
Whether you
repercussions.
like it or not, that's how the world works,
Yes.
right?
Pray shit don't
Yes,
come out.
I know. But also, this is our opinions.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
is not
Yeah.
to give you guys, the approval to do some things. You guys are
part.
adults. You shouldn't be doing.
Don't videotape it.
Exactly. So
Videotape.
let's
For
wrap.
entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
This
only.
is Girl Code. This is
Absolutely.
Girl Code.
All right, make sure you leave us some comments below.
Yes, please.
Subscribe, like, and leave us some comments.
Right.
All right.
That was
Thank
good.
you. Bye.
Bye.